story begins in 2020, during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Businesses are shutting down, people are losing their jobs, and many families are struggling to survive. Among them is a young boxer named Kim Gun-woo, a disciplined and kind-hearted fighter who dreams of becoming successful through hard work. Every day he trains at his local boxing gym, completely unaware that his life is about to change forever. Gun-woo lives with his mother, who owns a small calf. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, almost all of her customers have disappeared, leaving the business on the verge of bankruptcy. To keep the calf running, she secretly borrows money from a company called Smile Capital, believing it will help her survive until things improve. At the same time, we are introduced to Kim Myung-gil, the smiling CEO of Smile Capital. Behind his polite appearance hides one of the most ruthless loan sharks in the country. He doesn't simply lend money, he traps desperate people with hidden contracts, impossible interest rates, and violent enforcers. His latest target is a wealthy construction company owner whose luxury hotel project has stalled because of COVID. Myung-gil offers to finance the project, but only if he gets exactly what he wants, including control over the hotel's future casino business. The businessman reluctantly agrees, unknowingly stepping into a dangerous partnership. Meanwhile, Gun-woo enters a national amateur boxing tournament. There, he meets another talented boxer named Hong-woo Jin. The two face each other in the championship match, where Gun-woo wins with his incredible speed and powerful punches. Instead of becoming rivals, however, they quickly become friends. After the match, they share a meal and discover they both served in the Marine Corps, giving them an instant bond built on discipline and respect. Gun-woo even tells Woo Jin that all of his prize money will go to his mother because helping her is more important than buying anything for himself. Unfortunately, while Gun-woo is celebrating his victory, his mother unknowingly signed Smile Capital's contract without realizing the fine print. Within just one day, the company demands an outrageous fee, claiming she now owes massive interest. When she refuses because she has no money, dozens of gangsters storm into her calf. They smash furniture, destroy the business she spent years building, and threaten her life. Gun-woo rushes to the calf after receiving his mother's desperate phone call. Furious at what he sees, he fights the loan sharks using his boxing skills. One by one they fall, but then Myung-gil arrives with his terrifying bodyguard, a giant fighter who is far stronger than anyone Gun-woo has ever faced. Despite fighting bravely, Gun-woo is eventually overwhelmed. Myung-gil personally slashes his face with a knife, leaving a deep wound that requires 30 stitches. After waking up in the hospital, Gun-woo learns the horrifying truth. Smile Capital's contract was designed as a scam from the beginning. The weekly interest keeps increasing, making it almost impossible for borrowers to escape their debt. Even reporting the crime to the police isn't an option, because the gang has threatened to kill his mother if he talks. Determined to help, Woo Jin takes Gun-woo to meet an honest lender who offers low-interest loans. However, the lender also wants them to work as debt collectors, something both young men refuse because they refuse to hurt innocent people for money. Elsewhere, we meet Chairman Choi, an elderly businessman known for lending money without charging interest to people who genuinely need help. Living with him is his adopted granddaughter, Hyun-ju, who often worries that her grandfather's kindness allows criminals to exploit him. After discovering that one of those criminals has been stealing homeless people's identities to take out fraudulent loans, she begins investigating on her own. Recognizing that Hyun-ju may be in danger, Chairman Choi decides to hire bodyguards. Through a military connection, Gun-woo and Woo Jin are recommended for the job. Although Hyun-ju initially rejects the idea, Gun-woo sincerely explains that he desperately needs work to save his mother. Moved by his honesty, she reluctantly gives them a chance. Soon, the three begin secretly investigating Smile Capital's identity theft operation. They discover gang members disguising themselves as charity workers, tricking homeless people into handing over their identification cards with promises of food and shelter. When one elderly victim realizes he has been deceived and demands his ID back, the criminals brutally beat him in public. Unable to watch an innocent man suffer, Gun-woo ignores Hyun-ju's orders to stay hidden. He charges forward and attacks the gang members, saving the old man's life. Although the criminals escape, they recognize Gunwoo's face, exposing their investigation and placing all three of them directly in Smile Capital's crosshairs. Now Gunwoo Woo Jin and Hyunju have officially declared war against one of the most dangerous criminal organizations in Korea, and this is only the beginning. After exposing themselves while saving the homeless man, Gunwoo and Woo Jin become direct targets of Smile Capital. Myung-gil wastes no time and orders his men to eliminate them before they can interfere any further. The gang surrounds the two friends inside an abandoned shopping complex, where a brutal fight breaks out. Even though they are badly outnumbered, Gunwoo and Woo Jin fight with incredible teamwork. Their boxing skills allow them to knock down one thug after another, but while they are busy fighting, another group heads straight for Gunwoo's mother. Fortunately, before the kidnappers can escape, a mysterious man appears and defeats almost every attacker with astonishing knife skills. Only one criminal manages to flee. The stranger is revealed to be Mr. Hong, a former associate of Chairman Choi who disappeared years ago. His arrival proves that Chairman Choi still has powerful allies willing to fight against Myung-gil. Realizing that Smile Capital now knows where Gunwoo lives, Chairman Choi moves Gunwoo, Woo Jin, and Gunwoo's mother to one of his orphanages for protection. From this point forward, the fight becomes much bigger than simply repaying a loan. They are now preparing to destroy Myung-gil's entire criminal empire. As everyone shares information, Chairman Choi finally reveals his own painful past. Years earlier, Myung-gil had worked under him when he was still trying to build an honest business. Chairman Choi trusted him, gave him opportunities, and even helped him start over. Instead of showing gratitude, Myung-gil betrayed him, stole his fortune, and nearly murdered him during a robbery. The scar on Myung-gil's face came from that same night when Chairman Choi fought back before barely surviving. Meanwhile, Myung-gil continues expanding his business through fear and violence. He blackmails the owner of the unfinished luxury hotel after secretly recording him during a brutal assault. His real goal isn't simply collecting debt anymore. He wants to control the future hotel so he can build an illegal casino and use it as the center of his growing criminal network. Chairman Choi understands that defeating Myung-gil requires more than physical strength. His team begins carefully investigating every member of Smile Capital, identifying corrupt managers, former police officers, and financial experts who keep the organization running. Instead of attacking blindly, they decide to remove each important member one by one. During their investigation, they discover that Chairman Choi's hidden fortune is stored inside a library where stacks of cash are concealed inside ordinary-looking bookshelves. Before the money can be safely relocated, Smile Capital launches another attack. Gunwoo Woo Jin, Hyunju, Mr. Hong, and Do Young rush to move the money into trucks, but Myung-gil's men ambush them. While Hyunju is briefly captured, she refuses to panic and fights back using her stun baton, giving herself enough time to escape. At the same time, Gunwoo and Woo Jin face the giant bodyguard once again. This time, instead of fighting alone, they combine their strength and finally overpower the massive fighter after an exhausting battle. Just when they think they have won, dozens of additional gangsters arrive. A high-speed chase begins through the city as Hyunju drives with remarkable skill while the others protect the money. Cars crash, vehicles flip over, and the chase becomes increasingly dangerous. Eventually, they manage to escape, although some of Chairman Choi's hidden wealth is lost during the chaos. Rather than feeling disappointed, Chairman Choi reminds everyone that money can always be earned again, but lives cannot. His priority remains protecting the people around him, not protecting his fortune. Soon after, the team discovers one of Myung-gil's secret hospitals, where injured gang members receive treatment without involving the police. This gives them a valuable opportunity. While some members distract the guards outside, Mr., Hong, Gunwoo, and Woo Jin sneak inside and successfully capture Yang Jung, one of Myung-gil's most trusted managers. At first, Yang Jung refuses to speak despite intense questioning. However, Chairman Choi uses psychology instead of violence. He explains that Myung-gil eventually betrays everyone who works for him, and that cooperating is the only chance to survive. Slowly realizing that he has become disposable, Yong-jung finally breaks. He reveals that Myung-gil has been blackmailing the hotel owner with secretly recorded videos, and that all of the evidence is stored inside a highly secured safe located in Myung-gil's mansion. Unfortunately, the safe is protected by remote security systems, meaning any mistake could destroy every piece of evidence instantly. Yang-jung also admits that only Myung-gil's loyal bodyguard knows where the rest of the organization's hidden gold has been stored. Armed with this crucial information, Chairman Choi's team realizes they finally have a real chance to expose Smile Capital. However, breaking into Myung-gil's heavily protected headquarters and stealing the evidence will be far more dangerous than anything they have faced so far. The war between justice and greed has officially begun, and from this point onward, every move could decide who survives and who loses everything.